There is a silence that screams within many people, a silence that is not the absence of sound, but the absence of meaning. It echoes through commitments, city noise, and the demands of everyday life. It's the feeling of being present, but not whole. As if a part of you was left behind, forgotten somewhere along the way. An essential part. Untouchable. Indescribable. And yet, irreplaceable. For many, this absence reveals itself in subtle signs. In the lack of enthusiasm upon waking. In the absence of light in the eyes. In the emptiness that no external achievement seems able to fill. Some feel this call while driving alone at night, washing dishes, or in the silent moment after everyone has gone to sleep, when only your own presence remains, naked, fragile, unavoidable. It is at that point that the heart begins to whisper, not for ready-made answers, but for reunion. And that reunion begins with an inner choice, recognizing that we may have drifted away from who we truly are. That disconnection hurts. And it's not a loud, obvious pain. It's a pain that disguises itself as routine, as resignation, as, "I'm fine," when clearly, something is not. It is the pain of someone who has tried to change, who has read, meditated, prayed, asked, and yet still feels trapped in an invisible cycle. Life goes on, but the soul feels stuck somewhere. At that point, many people give up silently. But others, perhaps like you, begin to hear the call. The call to return to themselves. To leave the noise and come back to center. To remember what was never lost, only asleep. This video was born for that moment. Not to convince you of anything, nor to promise miracles. But to offer you 3 words. Simple. Powerful. Sacred. 3 words that, according to Deepak Chopra, are not merely articulated sounds, but living frequencies that resonate directly with your creative essence. They aren't magical in the childish sense of the word. They are magical because they remind your soul of what it already knows. They are keys. And every key carries an invitation to open. But before revealing those words, we need to understand why they work. And for that, we return to something that both ancient wisdom and modern science are beginning to say in unison: words are vibrations. And vibrations shape reality. In the beginning was the Word, say the sacred texts. And the Word wasn't just speech. It was creation. Frequency. Intention in motion. Deepak Chopra reminds us that when we use words with awareness, we are literally organizing the vibrational chaos of our minds and sending silent but powerful commands to the universe. You may not realize it, but every word you repeat inside, even silently, is shaping how your body behaves, how your heart feels, how your cells vibrate. And this isn't about positive thinking, that would be far too shallow. It's about vibrating in truth. About aligning what you say with what you feel. About allowing sound, word, intention, and presence to become one single act of creation. What you are about to hear is not new. But maybe now, at this point in your journey, these words will sound different. Maybe today, you won't just hear them, you will feel them. Because something within you is ready. Ready to remember. Ready to return. Now breathe deeply. Feel your body. Feel what pulses. There is no rush. No expectation. Only presence. And in this presence, the words will find home. 3 words. 3 keys. 3 invitations to activate, from the inside out, the power to create the life of your dreams. Not because you need to become someone else, but because perhaps it's time to be more truly who you already are. Let's begin. It's not easy to say, I am love, when your heart is hurting. When life seems to have delivered more disappointment than affection. When your body carries the memory of abandonment, betrayal, or distances you never chose. And yet, it is precisely within this terrain of pain that the first word reveals itself as a gateway. Not an external portal, but a field of reconnection with something you never stopped being, even when everything around you suggested otherwise. I am love is not a superficial affirmation. It is a return to the source. A declaration, vibrationally, that you are not merely someone who seeks love, but someone who radiates love. That at the most subtle level of your being, you are made of the same substance that shapes galaxies, moves time, and sustains the unseen. This affirmation dissolves inner defenses built up over years, barriers that once seemed necessary but have now become prisons. It does not force healing. It offers presence. And in that presence, love, which needs no justification and no reciprocity, begins to bloom. Deepak Chopra reminds us that love is not just an emotion, but a fundamental frequency of the universe. When you say, I am love, you are tuning into that frequency, even if parts of you still resist or doubt it. And that's okay. What matters isn't perfect belief, it's consistent vibration. Saying, I am love, is like lighting a candle in a dark room. Even if the darkness remains, something has changed. There is light. And light begins to reveal paths that once seemed closed. How often do we search for peace as if it were a distant destination? A retreat, an answer, a future still out of reach. But, I am peace, is not a future promise. It is an anchoring in the now. A remembrance that the peace we seek already lives within, buried beneath layers of fear, urgency, and unmet expectations. When we say, I am peace, something inside begins to slow down. The mind, so accustomed to chasing, begins to yield to the heart, which simply feels. It is an act of surrender without defeat. Of firmness without rigidity. This affirmation repositions us at the center, that place where the winds still blow, but do not shake. Where the noise of the world still exists, but does not dominate. Peace is not the absence of problems. It is the presence of spirit. It is knowing that even in chaos, there is a place within us that remains calm, not out of denial, but from understanding. From presence. Chopra speaks of the importance of finding this center daily, even if only for a few moments. Because it is from this center that conscious choices emerge, that clear thoughts arise, and that energy truly manifests. I am peace is not about withdrawing from the world, it is about entering it without losing yourself. I am light may be the most challenging of the three. Because it involves recognizing your own divinity, your creative power, your ability to illuminate your steps even when everything around you seems cloaked in darkness. But the light this affirmation evokes is not arrogance. It is awareness. It is knowing there is a spark within you that never goes out, not even during the longest nights. To say, I am light, is to assume vibrational responsibility. To remember that every thought, every emotion, every word you emit sends out waves. And those waves meet others. They form patterns. Realities. When we vibrate light, we're not ignoring the shadow, we are allowing it to be seen. Gently. Clearly. Compassionately. This light doesn't have to shine brightly at all times. It can be soft, faint, almost imperceptible. And still, it is light. And that is enough. Chopra invites us to see this affirmation as an act of expanded awareness, where we stop seeing only with physical eyes and begin seeing with the soul. Where we no longer perceive obstacles as enemies, but as parts of the path that our own light can touch, transform, transcend. These three words, I am love, I am peace, I am light, are portals. But they only open when spoken with presence, with surrender, with a bare heart. They are seeds. And like all seeds, they ask for time, for care, for faith. Not in a religious sense, but in a vibrational one, faith as the frequency that sustains creation before it blooms into visible form. Now that you've received the words, the invitation deepens, to understand how and why they truly work. And for that, we now enter the space where science and soul meet, where the invisible begins to be explained, and the unexplainable begins to be felt. Imagine for a moment that every word you speak, or even think, is like a musical note vibrating through the invisible field around you. This vibration, although imperceptible to your physical senses, interacts with everything that exists. According to quantum physics, we do not live in a world made of separate solid objects, but in an ocean of energy in constant motion and mutual influence. In this context, words are not merely sounds. They are frequencies. And frequencies have the power to organize, attract, and create. Deepak Chopra invites us to recognize that the universe responds to vibrational language. When you repeat, I am love, for instance, you're emitting a frequency that, through resonance, attracts situations, people, and experiences that vibrate on the same wavelength. This doesn't mean everything around you changes instantly. It means your perception aligns with a different layer of reality, one where love, peace, and light are not goals to reach but inner states that shape what you attract, accept, and cultivate. Words, then, function as emitters and organizers of reality. They are not magical in a childish sense, but they are deeply alchemical. When spoken with intention, they inform the quantum field of your dominant frequency. And the field responds. Always. The crucial question is, are you aware of what you're vibrating? Are you aware of the words you repeat internally every day? The science of the brain reinforces this truth in fascinating ways. Neuroplasticity, a term now widely known thanks to authors like Joe Dispenza and Bruce Lipton, shows us that the brain is not fixed. It changes. It reorganizes. It reprograms. And one of the most effective ways to do this is through the conscious repetition of thoughts and words, aligned with coherent emotional states. When you affirm daily, I am peace, your brain begins to create new connections that support that state. The old synapses, those that held fear, urgency, and conflict, begin to weaken through lack of use. And the new ones, those that sustain serenity, acceptance, and trust, grow stronger. The brain, then, stops being a projector of past experiences and becomes an updated map of conscious possibilities. But for this reprogramming to truly work, it takes more than mechanically repeating words. It requires emotional involvement. Chopra reminds us that the body believes more in what you feel than in what you think. If you say, I am light, but feel afraid, the field responds to the emotion, not the phrase. That's why the practice demands presence. Demands that you feel, even if just for a few seconds, the vibration of what you are affirming. That's the turning point, when the word stops being a concept and becomes a living frequency. And it's precisely at this point that the science of coherence comes into play. Research from the HeartMath Institute has shown the existence of a state called heart-brain coherence, a vibrational alignment between heart rhythms and brain patterns. When we are in coherence, our biology harmonizes. The body balances. The immune system strengthens. The mind clears. And, more deeply, our ability to manifest expands. Coherence is achieved when we feel elevated emotions, such as gratitude, compassion, love, and presence. And here we return to the words. I am love, when said with intention and felt in the chest, can induce this state. It doesn't just reorganize the brain. It aligns the heart. And when heart and mind vibrate together, the quantum field receives a clearer, more stable, and more powerful signal. This is not about repeating phrases to convince the universe of something. It's about aligning your vibration with what you want to experience. When you are in coherence, you are not wishing from lack. You are allowing from trust. You are making space for the field to organize the realities most compatible with your current frequency. This union between science and spirituality offers us a new way of seeing life. Not as something fixed or predestined, but as a continuous flow of energy responding to our vibration. Words, when used with consciousness, are guides of this flow. They are not just expressions. They are directions. And by choosing them with intention, you do more than change your thoughts. You change your reality. Now that you understand the scientific and spiritual power of these words, it is time to integrate them. To let them leave the realm of ideas and enter the body. The breath. The day. The quiet choices of each morning. Because the real miracle doesn't come from repeating, it comes from living. The way you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. In the quiet of morning, as the world slowly awakens, a sacred window opens. A portal between sleep and alertness where the mind remains soft and the heart more accessible. It's within this space that words gain their greatest power. Because here, vibration doesn't have to compete with the external noise, it flows freely, like the first light of day gently warming your skin. The morning ritual with the 3 words begins with a moment of stillness. As you wake, before reaching for your phone or thinking of your tasks, sit at the edge of your bed or on the floor with your feet touching the ground. Close your eyes. Breathe deeply. 3 times. Feel your body. Feel the life moving through you. And then, softly and intentionally, either out loud or in your mind, speak the words that will serve as your compass for the day. I am love. I am peace. I am light. Repeat each phrase 3 times, letting every repetition sink deeper. Don't rush. Let the vibration of the words move through your body. Visualize, if it feels natural, a gentle light surrounding you. Or simply feel whatever arises. The practice doesn't demand perfection, it calls for presence. And presence is what transforms. This ritual takes no more than 5 minutes. But the frequency it installs stays with you, like a subtle melody that lingers throughout your day, even in the most challenging moments. Because this is not about starting the day right. It's about starting aligned. And alignment, though invisible, echoes in every direction. Once these words become familiar, you can deepen the process through creative visualization. This practice involves vividly imagining the life you wish to experience, but always starting from the vibrational state of the 3 words. In other words, you don't visualize to wish for something. You visualize from the energy of already being it. Find a quiet space. Breathe. Begin by silently affirming, I am love. I am peace. I am light. Stay in these vibrations for a few moments. Let them fill your body, as if every cell is being bathed in this frequency. Then, with your eyes closed, begin to visualize scenes from the life you wish to live. Healthy relationships. Purposeful work. Vitality. A nurturing home. Travel. Deep silence. Whatever your soul longs for, allow it to emerge. But most importantly, see yourself in those scenes living from the vibration of love, peace, and light. See yourself smiling with ease. Feeling safe. Expansive. Present. Visualization is not about controlling every detail, it's about embodying the inner state that brings those realities into form. And the more emotionally engaged you are, the stronger the signal you send to the quantum field. This practice can last between 10 to 15 minutes. It can be done daily or whenever you feel disconnected from yourself. Remember, it's not about forcing something. It's about allowing your imagination, the language of your soul, to reveal pathways your logic hasn't seen. Another powerful way to integrate these words into your daily life is through intuitive writing. Also known as scripting by some authors, this practice involves writing about your life as if it were already aligned with your soul's desires, always using the 3 words as vibrational pillars. Set aside a notebook just for this. A sacred space where you don't record what's missing, but what's alive. Start each page with the words, "Today I awaken in love, peace, and light." From there, let the writing flow. Describe your ideal routine. Your relationships. Your feelings. Write as someone living it, not waiting for it. As someone who already is, not someone who still needs to become. For example, today I woke up with a calm heart. I felt the love that surrounds me in every gesture. My home is quiet and peaceful. My body feels light, nourished by light. People who cross my path feel this energy. Everything flows with ease. Gratitude guides my thoughts. This kind of writing is not just symbolic. It activates regions of the brain connected to real experience. The body starts to respond. Your vibration rises. And over time, your frequency begins to shape your outer world, not through magic, but through vibrational coherence. Because when you write from within, you organize your energy field. And a coherent field manifests with greater clarity. You can write in the morning, as an extension of your affirmation ritual. Or in the evening, to end the day in a higher vibration. What matters is that it feels true. Not idealized, but vibrationally aligned with who you are becoming. These practices, simple, quiet, profound, don't require sophisticated tools. They require one thing, a yes. A yes to the reunion. A yes to presence. A yes to the vibration that longs to return to center. Because when you say, "I am love, I am peace, I am light," you are not just repeating beautiful phrases. You are, little by little, redesigning your reality. From the inside out. As someone who lights a candle in the dark, unhurried, but with the deep knowing that soon, the entire path will be visible. There is something deeply sacred about returning. Not returning to a physical place, but rediscovering an inner state that has always been there, though often buried, dormant, silenced by the demands of the world. Throughout this video, you have moved through layers. You've looked within. You've felt. You've remembered. And now, in this final moment, you may sense that the 3 words we've explored together are not just ideas. They are vibrational memories. Fragments of your essence now reorganizing into a new alignment. I am love. I am peace. I am light. These words do not promise a perfect life. They don't guarantee that pain will disappear. But they offer something far more real, a new starting point. A place where you are no longer a victim of outer circumstances, but a co-creator of your own vibration. And this vibration, as we've seen, is what shapes your experience of the world. It's not what happens outside. It's what resonates inside. And what resonates within becomes choices, connections, subtle intuitions that guide your path in quiet yet powerful ways. To recall these words is more than repeating them. It's to recognize them as part of your energetic identity. I am love heals the parts that felt rejected, unseen, or abandoned. It doesn't ask you to love the world instantly. Only to allow yourself to become a space where love can arise. I am peace teaches that even in chaos, there is a place inside you where all is well, not through denial, but through understanding. Through presence. I am light awakens your higher consciousness, the part of you that observes without judgment, understands without needing control, radiates without needing to convince. Now, the invitation is silent. Carry these words with you. Not as memorized mantras, but as vibrational seeds. Say them while you walk. While you drive. When fear arises. When you gaze at the sky. Let them live in your silences. Let them echo in your heart even when your mind is busy. And watch. Watch what begins to shift. Because real transformation starts subtly. But it deepens. It roots itself. It becomes. You may return to this video whenever you feel you've strayed from yourself. It's not content to be consumed, it's a space to be felt. And each time you return to it, you are returning to yourself. A little more conscious. A little more whole. A little more resonant with the frequency of what truly matters. Remember, the life of your dreams doesn't begin when everything outside changes. It begins when your vibration changes. When you choose words that are true to your soul. When you stop waiting for light from the outside, and start shining your own. You are not broken. You are transforming. Your body hears everything your soul whispers. And the universe, it always answers. Now breathe. Feel. And choose. Because the home you've been searching for out there is, in truth, the place you've always belonged.